around, you know? We see them in the art class here. Down the hallway, we see the two of them, and we're gonna go into the regular classroom first. We see Colin pointing to where he sits. You know, talk about his school life a little. Go into the computer room. And we're gonna end up right here at the gym, where they're rehearsing for the music performance. And Faye is just sitting on the side, just listening in, and then a little bit later we see that Faye has fallen asleep, and well, Colin's just kind of smiling. Happy to have his friend here with him. All right, memento number 13, the clock right here. Now, at this point, Ava has started to notice, you know, we've seen Faye many a times in his childhood, but Faye doesn't really seem to be around in his later years at all. Anyway, back to his later years, specifically as we see Colin run into a hospital. And then we see him walk into one of the hospital rooms, but it's the wrong room. And as we get to this room, we see Sophia with a little baby boy. Colin's made it. Little Asher. So, Colin grabs Asher and then shakes Asher a bit too much, so Asher starts to cry, and Colin kind of panics. We see him walk out of the room again. And then, just before he walks in, he sees a stack of paper. Now, Colin being Colin, he kind of knows what to do with that. But he grabs a piece of paper before he walks back in. And he's like, well, he just needed a minute. So, we see him fold a little paper airplane, throw it to Sophia, and she uses it, and, you know, Asher starts to smile. And that kind of helps Asher, or it helps Colin build the confidence to, you know, hold Asher. That's the first time he held his little son. So I guess to quickly recap for everyone that's come in more recently and that's wondering what's going on here, we play as Dr. Neil Watts and Ava Rosaline. Right now we are going back through the memories of Colin, who is a... just gotta make sure I do this right. Colin is about to pass away, and our job is to go through his memories and make his dying wish come true. We've learned that his dying wish was to die happy, but with changing as little as possible. So we're going through his life right now to figure out why he's not happy, and to see if we can change that. So we're back in his childhood, but this time we end up on the other side of the building, and let's just say we're gonna see a little bit of humor here. You know, we're gonna spawn in a hookshot to help us get to the other side. And yes, that is a hookshot. The time for us to power it up. That's good enough. So we shoot the hookshot, and well, it does work. So that is Neptune. We're gonna use the planet Neptune to get to the other side. I think it depends on how strong your shot is as to which planet you get. Before a certain point, you just don't get across, and then I think it kind of depends from there which planet. I think there's more options you can get. I think I've had Jupiter before. I've had Pluto before. But yeah, that's a thing. This is kind of what I meant with, you know, we're going to see some comic relief in between all of the more serious parts of the game. So we see Faye and Colin up on the balcony again. Still where they first met. And Colin's gotten better at making paper airplanes, but Faye says that, you know, it's still not gonna get to the other side. And she asks why he's, you know, why flying and why paper airplanes and whatnot matters so much. And he talks about a bird he once met. And this is actually a brief nudge to a bird story, which talks about Colin's early days and about how Colin befriended a bird who was injured and couldn't fly anymore. He nursed the bird back to health, and, you know, the bird flew off. And he's never seen that bird again since. So, Faye kind of convinces Colin to, you know, if flying matters so much to you, why not become a pilot? And they agree to go to an airport together, and, you know, she'll help him, you know. She kind of convinces him to become a pilot. And this is kind of why Colin became a pilot in the first place. He would have never, if not for Faye. But Faye walks back inside, and they agree to go to the airport the day after. We're gonna go back inside here. We're gonna get the remaining mementos. I believe the book is... yeah. Thought so. Oh, right, of course. It's that painting. Heck, that didn't quite work. There we go. We take the book and we go right back to, this time it's Colin's first flight. So we're now back in his adult life, and we kind of are going to be seeing the prank that he pulled with his first officer, but this time it's going to be pulled to him, being the newbie first officer. We see a funny little interaction between Colin and Captain Ernst, the captain of this particular ship, or airplane. We also learned that at this point in time, his wife is pregnant and expecting a baby boy, and that baby boy is going to be named Asher. Oh, whoops. That worked. That's actually faster than what I thought. Like, I thought we needed to do another one 3 times, but this one's actually faster. Huh. No little speedrun strat right there. So, back to Colin's teenage years. And we see him arriving at this little airport right here. Asking this pilot to, he wants to become a pilot. And seeing if he could learn how to fly, whether he would teach him. And the pilot tells Colin to go down the hall and talk to the owner of the airport. There's a little scene up here that I'm almost forgetting. We also learn right here that becoming a pilot turns out to be quite expensive. And Colin doesn't exactly have a lot of money. We see them having drawn this little airplane with a cat's head. And then talking to the lady behind the counter here. Now, turns out this is a family-owned airport, and Faye kind of draws that to the mafia. Saying that, well, family-owned, apparently this place is like the mafia. So he's gonna be talking to the big bad mafia boss. And, well, as he walks in, it kind of turns out to be true. Or at least in Colin's memory, it turns out to be true. We see this mafia boss right here, and Colin, he's no money, no background, no experience. So, Faye suggests to say that, he has strong arms, and he could work for his classes. And the boss does agree to that. He offers us a job here at the airport, and we can use that money to then pay for classes. To pay them off that way. And so we agree. And that is how Colin got his first job. Now the memento here is the amaretto sour. All right, Go. This time around, we get to see Colin's and Sophia's honeymoon. So at this point, we're fairly early on in their life together. We see them, you know, sitting at the beach. Lovely view of the ocean. Kind of everything they dreamed about. Colin's well on his way of becoming a pilot. Sophia is doing quite well in her job as a musician. You know, it's all good times. And then Colin grabs his drink and accidentally spills it all over Sophia's dress. We're gonna go see the little house that they're staying in for their honeymoon. On the way, we see them roasting marshmallows over a campfire on the beach. We see the little house they have for their honeymoon right here, right at the water. We see Sophia already asleep on the bed, and Colin just sitting down next to her. Wait, I think it's the flowers, isn't it? The same flower that we've seen many a times through Colin's life. Now we're gonna have to backtrack a little bit over the beach here, as our memento is the towel that he used to clean up the lemon juice he spilled. So we're gonna go over here. No, that's wrong. This way and then that. There we go. All right, now that we've got that. Oh. We get back to the airport and we see Colin cleaning one of the planes. As Faye is just sitting on top of the wing. Don't think didn't think I needed to interact with those. We're gonna kind of see Colin's job here. You know, as he's sweeping the floor, you know, cleaning up the airport as best he can. We also see Colin sit in one of these flying classes. Oh, whoops. Don't need to read the remainder of the notes. We see Colin interact with one of the pilots, kind of helping him out with the vending machine here. See him work at the cash registry, where he's getting a lot of pennies from that girl over there. And she's like, well, I have all day. And we see him talk to Barry. Now, Barry is a skywriting pilot. And he's one of the main teachers that Colin has. At least for the actual flying classes itself. So we're gonna go back out to the airstrip. And, because well, we haven't really so much missed something, rather there's something else we still need to see. But as we go there, we see almost as if it's a breeze passing us. And as we get there, we notice that the door is open while it was closed when we went through it earlier. So we go through it and all this happens. Turns out it opens right in the middle of the sky somewhere. And there's really not much of a way out, and Rosaline says, you know, the only option they have is to jump, and then we get pushed out. Watts blames Rosaline, but Rosaline says that she didn't do it. But, well, we land right here, on top of the plane. And this plane right here is being piloted by Colin. It's his first time flying himself. Barry sitting right next to him. Faye in the back. And, Barry is teaching him how to land the plane. So here we go, we're gonna land the plane. Quite the ordeal for Watts hanging onto the wing like that. So, we made it to the runway. Watts, well, Watts is basically dead. So, game over. And then Rosaline tells him to get up. We got a job to finish right here. So, yeah, that was Colin's first flight. Barry gives Colin his hat. You know, for a job well done. And that is also our memento. Okay, gotta make sure I do this one right. No, that's not right. Hold on, I gotta line these up. Not quite optimal, but that worked. So we are slowly closing in on the end of Act 1. We have a few more scenes left. The next one, the moment that Colin asked Sophia to marry him. The proposal. This is probably the shortest one. Turns out Barry kind of screwed up and misspelled Mary. That one, yes. There we go. And that's the entire scene. There is nothing more to this than that. But now we get to a rather big day. This is the orchestra, and it's the day that Colin met Sophia. We see Faye and Colin run into the orchestra here, and they're a little late. Faye has kind of pushed Colin to just go to it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? But she's going to stay outside. He tries to convince Colin that... or Colin tries to convince her that he's not nervous. But, you know, she jumps into the bushes right there. And Colin's gonna have to go inside. We may remember this music hall from earlier. This was also the place where Sophia gave her last performance. Is also where the two of them ended up meeting. We see Colin with the book, and that's going to give us our memento later. But first, as we run in here, we see Colin getting ready. He is quite nervous. This is just for a rehearsal. And then we see Sophia walk in. She's late. That was their first encounter. We see the two of them, or we see him play in the orchestra, but, you know, something was off on the right side in the cello. And, well, the guy kind of figures out that it was Colin messing up right there. And so they continue until it gets to Sophia's solo. That's kind of their first, or the first moment that Colin noticed Sophia the way he did. And well, we kind of already know how that ended, so... Make sure I do this right. That one... Go. All right, we use the book. We go on to Sophia's and Colin's first date. Right here at the aquarium. Both of them drew fish as part of their first date, so that's Sophia's fish. That's Colin's. We're gonna go to the right here, where they see the octopus, or octopi, or however you end up calling that. And we see the octopus going to Colin, and it tickles a bit, and then he gets sprayed with ink. Sophia just kind of laughs about it. It's all good times. And then in the back here we have the two of them just enjoying the aquarium. Turns out Rosaline is a big fan of aquaria. All the jellyfish. And they talk about, you know, why they ended up doing what they do. How Sophia became a pianist. Why Colin wanted to become a pilot. And Colin initially just says he wanted to fly to places, and she's like, that's it. And then she kind of opens up a little bit more about how a friend of his convinced him to become a pilot. Okay, there we go. I've messed up a little here. Yeah, I've messed up a little here. Hold on. You can reset the puzzle, like, by pressing Q. Okay. There we go. Got it. Took a little longer than it needed to, but I got it. And so we get to the last scene from Act 1. It turns out the airport is closing down. And these are their last, or this is his last day here. This is where he learned how to fly. And he's kind of just reminiscing. So we walk in here and we see them with the big painting. Now, you may have seen it at the start of the game, you may not have, but this painting was actually in Colin's house, in their retirement home, and this is where the owner of the airport gave Colin the painting as a parting gift. Oh, time for us to go outside. This scene plays in between Colin meeting Sophia and their first date. It's kind of where, you know, Faye kind of asks what he's going to be saying to Sophia. They talk about, you know, 'cause clearly Colin likes Sophia. And they've been talking, and they're going on a date soon. And he asks Faye to help him prepare. You know, but and they just talk, you know. They've been together for a long time. They're still great friends. And he's been having less time, but you know, they've both been busy. And they've been kind of drifting apart a little. So we get some comedic scene here as we run into the end of Act 1. So, I suppose if there's anything to talk about, now might be a good moment.
There's still no more. There are no more donations, but if you want to get your donations in, there's some excellent upcoming incentives. You will have the option to have Sable Dragon Rook show off her pet lizard on a live lizard cam. That is $240 away, and then after that, you can name the rival in Pokemon Red. So definitely get those donations in.
All right. So at this point, we're just messing around a bit, and we see a light come from the sky, and it turns out that Roxy has finally arrived. She came over to bring over the paperwork, and so we are going to go get that and get the paperwork in order. Neil is going to go outside, do the paperwork while Rosaline finishes up here. And that's the end of Act 1. Act 2, you don't have to leave anymore. So, Act 1 is where we get all of the story of Colin, all of his background, we see his entire life. Act 2, by far the shortest act in the game as well. This one's less than 10 minutes. This is kind of where we start to figure out what's been going on. And then Act 3, which is honestly where all of the good stuff is going to be, is where we kind of, like, everything starts to wrap up nicely. Anyway, so we finish up the paperwork. Both Rob and Roxy are here. And we're gonna go check in on Colin. And on Ava. Yeah, this part of the game, we're gonna establish communication with Rosaline. There is still that one piece of the memory left, and we don't really, like, she can't really seem to find it. Now, before we actually can continue, Neil needs to grab something from the car. The paperwork is done. He's going to just quickly go to the car and grab something they need in order to actually properly get in there. Oh, crap. I am forgetting something. Is it? Yeah, there we go. We need to check in on how he's doing. We also learn that Sophia has gone to the attic. And Asher starts asking us some questions about what's been going on. About, you know, what his wish was, because he never told them. So, I believe we keep it confident here, but the idea is still, you know, Colin doesn't actually want anything to change, he just wants to be happy, changing as little in his life as possible. But at the same time, both Sophia and Asher are kind of at a loss for what's going on. So we see Sophia up here, who's having a look at the book, that completely empty green book. And we kind of tell her what's been going on. We kind of get the choice here whether we do or not. The default option is to just tell them. At least a little bit. Give them a little bit of peace of mind here. And she wonders about what the empty pages were all about. I mean, this book has obviously meant quite a lot to Colin, but it's just empty. So now we have to go to the car. We're gonna go down here. And down here, we're actually gonna learn something pretty important. We see that kid that we saw at the start of the game. And, she tells us that Old Man Colin has taught her a little secret about how she could read how she could write in invisible ink. We learn that he's using lemon juice that he used lemon juice to write with invisible ink. We get a little call here from Dr. Rosaline, who's still inside, still trying to figure out what's been going on. And she asks us to do some research on Faye. Because at this point, we still have no idea who Faye is. She's not in any of Colin's later memories. We are pretty close to recent, or to like his recent and his like the younger memories. Like, there's pretty much one memory missing in between. But we haven't seen Faye after that memory. And there's only a couple days, so we're wondering what's happened there. So instead of actually going to look that up ourselves, we call Winters, and we have her do a quick search on Faye. We then get another call from Rosaline, but she can't actually hear us for some reason. She calls us and we can hear her, but whatever we're saying back, she is not receiving it. We just continue our path to the car, as we do. So yeah, that's a very nice bike right there. Then as we get to the car, we get another call from Winters. She's looked up on Faye, and well, there's something weird going on. There's nothing about her at all. She's not dead. There's no record of her ever, anywhere. If she was dead, there'd be a record of her. There is none. She doesn't... There's nothing anywhere here. No database, no memories from anyone that they can find that has ever met Faye. And at this point, Watts kind of realizes what's going on here. Act 3. Even if it was just someone like me. So, Rob and Roxy, they have a case of their own, so they need to head out. But there's definitely some big unanswered questions here. So we're gonna go back to back in the memories as we try and figure out what's been going on here. Alright, here we are. Once again, we meet Faye, but Ava is nowhere to be found right now. Now, at this point, we do have kind of access to the overworld of Colin's memories. A place where all of his memories are being linked together. And we can use this to help us look for Ava. Because Ava is still in here somewhere. Scan for... So we're gonna go through all of the years, scan for Ava Rosaline, see if she's in any of them. And essentially we're gonna learn that she is not in any of them. including the current one. So we try to narrow it down by scanning where she was most recently, and that does turn out to be the memory that we were at. So once again, we end up right here, as we did before. No sign of Ava. So we're just gonna go through the logs then, see what's happened to her. So here we see 8:55. This is where we left. A little over half an hour later, we see Ava still walking around, and this is the point where she decides to give us a call. She notices that there's something going on. And just 6 minutes later, she's calling with us to ask if we can do some digging on Faye. She just wants to rule out a possibility. 2 minutes later, we get the second call. And, you know, we see her go, we see her just disappear, and then the screen goes black. And then when we look around, everything's gone. We see the tree glitch. We see the cars glitch. And we see Faye approaching us. And she is quite powerful. She tells us to, or she's going to be telling us to get out. She wants us to leave. We say that Colin signed for this, and Colin changed his mind. But you know, she's not the only one to have powers here. We have our share of powers too. So it's time for us to show our true power. And we try, and it's kind of like we're trying to fart or something. But then it does actually work, and here we go. But yeah, time for us to show our true powers here. We get our swords. Think I'm gonna show mercy, you'd be sadly mistaken. Give up now and maybe I'll consider... Well, I mean... That didn't last very long. That did not last very long. And she once again kindly asks us to leave here. So at this point, the Colin memory here is gone, but if we want to have any chance of stopping Faye, we're going to have to go through Colin's overworld. Luckily, there's still a stable version of Colin here, so we're going to now go through all of Colin's remaining ages, and we're kind of just trying to stop Faye. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to scan where Faye is, and Faye is in literally every single one of his timelines. So we're going to just go through them one by one. And our goal is kind of just to preserve Colin's remaining memories. We're going to start here at adult Colin. Remember how Colin was, or Asher was running around and Colin saw somebody when he was here. Yeah, the person Colin saw was Faye. So this is Colin's, like, overarching timeline. Our initial job was to link all of them together, and, you know, supposedly that should help make Colin happy. But Faye has locked us out of this memory at this point. Yeah. She hits us, and we get locked out, and now we no longer have access here. We're gonna go to the next memory, see if we can at least save one of these. This time we're talking about the day that Colin was convinced to become a pilot. And Faye is going to once again lock us out. We try to stop her. We try to heal a hit, but she just shrugs it off. Now this time around we do actually get a chance to fight Faye. But she is still way too strong for us. I was supposed to forfeit there. I accidentally pressed fight. Whoopsie. That's actually a bit of a time loss. It's not a massive time loss, but it is a bit of a time loss. Like 10 seconds or something. And then, you know, after that, we still get locked out after all. Oh, locked out of that one. Let's try Colin's early childhood. We can really do these in any order. This time around, we're going to see the day that he and Faye climbed the mountain where they practiced music together. Now, Faye, of course, at this point does see us, and she runs off to the top of the mountain. And from there, she is going to once again lock us out here. Trying to convince us to leave. Now this time around, I can't actually even skip this battle even if I wanted to. But we still don't have a chance, really. He basically blocks every attack we would do. My main goal right now is just to stay close enough that she can kill me quickly. And once again, we get locked out. Okay, 2 more memories we need to go through. Let's do Colin's most recent memory. So this memory is only a few days earlier from where real time takes place. And this memory we can interact with, but fairly quickly we do get locked out. And we once again see Faye walk in and stop us. So we try to explain to Faye that we don't actually have a lot of time left. I mean, after all, Colin is dying, but she tries to attack us once again. This time around, her attacks don't seem to be quite as bad, and the barrier that she used to block us with breaks. And this is the point where we do get fights that we can actually win. Problem with winning is it's slow. So instead of winning, I'm going to just try and stay close, and we're going to try to lose this as quickly as we can. Now, as we go out, we get the choice to try again or accept the outcome. It is very important that I accept the outcome, otherwise we have to redo the entire thing. At the end of the day, the outcome is the same whether we win or lose, so... Okay, one more memory to go through. This time around, we get to Colin's final flight. And Faye is right here, one of the passenger seats. And once again, we're gonna fight, and once again, this is a fight that is winnable, but it is much faster for us to lose. So we are once again going to be losing. So this is probably the most important one for me to accept. If I overmash and I do not accept the outcome on this one, that loses about 30 seconds. Okay, there we go. I accepted the outcome. And that is the last memory that we had access to outside of the center one that we've been struggling with in the first place. But that is, at this point, the only version of Colin that we still have left. So that is where we're going to be going. Now, supposedly Ava is in this version still, so with some luck we'll be able to find her and maybe we'll actually have a fighting chance. And there we see Ava. But she does say something that's a little off, and rather quickly we learn that that was Faye and not Ava. And so we get into our final fight with Faye. Now this is a little nudge to another game, specifically Final Fantasy VI. We're gonna just forfeit the battle because it's way faster that way. Again, it is possible to win, but forfeiting is just faster. So at this point, Watts asks what exactly Faye is. She is way too powerful for us. There's not much we can do here. But right then and there, we do see something happen because Ava is still here. And she has managed to become more powerful than Faye. And there we go. So yeah, there isn't much time left. Colin is, or probably doesn't have a lot of time before he's actually dead. And if we do not fix this mess until, or before Colin dies, that's it. You know, there's nothing we can do and he'll die like this. And you can probably see why we definitely do not want Colin to die in this state. Now, we do realize that, and we also know that the remaining memento is held by Faye. So we decide to try and bargain with her. At the end of the day, both of our goal is to make Colin die a happy man. We can't do that without her help, and she can't do that without our help. So we bargain with her to get the final piece to let us travel to the remaining memory. Now, Faye believes that our plan was to remove her from Colin altogether. So we kind of do have to compromise a little bit on that. Because like I said, like the idea is we change one thing in Colin's life and that's supposed to help him die a happy man. And removing Faye isn't going to be that option for us. Okay, here we go. That was the final memento. We have one more memory to go. We see the little airstrip. We see Faye and Colin. So we're just gonna go to the top of the mountain here, and that's where we're gonna see... So if you haven't really had a chance to figure out who Faye is, this is going to be that opportunity. So the two of them, they go to the top of the mountain, the place where they played music together for the first time, and a place that means a lot to both of them. And we're gonna follow them to the top. Colin hesitates. Feels like maybe today isn't the right day. Maybe they should go back. Because he kind of knows what's coming. Now, Colin tries to rest for a while here, and Faye's like, you've barely taken a step. And they talk back about the first time that they raced up the mountain together here. Faye also tells Colin, you know, he's not tired. And she kind of knows that he's stalling. Now, during this next cutscene, I'm going to actually try to just read along with the text as best I can. It's going to slow down a lot compared to the pace we've been going through the text with. And that's in big part because this place, or this memory, means so much. We see the two of them play together at the top one more time here. Just like the first time they came here. It helps Colin learn or practice music. Play the cello. And they just kind of sit down here together. Just looking at the sky. Nice up here today. Always is. You don't have to leave anymore. I can fly now. Wherever you go, I can go with you. You really are stubborn, aren't you? Don't you think you're getting a bit too old for me to stay? People would laugh at you if they knew. And laugh all they want. I don't care. You made me who I am today. Learned to fly because of you. Kept playing the cello because of you. Taught me to practice the scales. No, Colin. Can't teach you anything you don't know, nor can I make you do anything you don't want. Maybe all you really wanted was for someone to be there, even if it was just someone like me. I know it's mesmerizing here, Colin. You've been spending so much time with me, imagining what could be. Don't you think you're forgetting what actually is? Sometimes, stepping out of this little world we've made, the only way to notice and appreciate all the beautiful things around you. I just don't want to be alone. Sure, if I go, you'll be alone at times, even when you don't want to be. Part of growing up. It's part of life. It's what makes fleeting moments with loved ones treasured. Also what drives you to seek what you wouldn't find if you just stayed here with me. A lot out there waiting for you, Colin. I'll promise you it'll all be good, but I know you won't find what you're looking for in those pages. You brought me into this world. And while some things are meant to stay, not one of them. My own Wayne, you know I'll always be there to protect you. Whatever comes, if it's something we could do, it's something you could do. What do you say, Colin? Are you ready? I don't know. I don't think I'm ready for it to end. I don't care what you are or aren't. You are my first real friend. Hey, it doesn't have to be the end for us. One day, you might look back and realize how fast your precious life passed by. And on that day, I'll come back once more. We'll talk like we used to. About your life. Tell me the happy life you've had, the nice memories you've made. Might not have such a happy life. Such a downer, you know that. Have a little faith in yourself, Colin. Of course you will. I know you will. Take a long time, might take a lot of work and effort. When that day comes, I have lots of happy memories to share. Almost time. How much you've written in those books by now. You've replaced the pages so many times. Must talk a lot. Now that I'm going, perhaps you can finally spare some pages. Doesn't have to write about her all the time. Same book filled with all kinds of different pages, as it should be. Take care of yourself, alright? Well, haven't said goodbye yet. You already have, Colin. Long time ago. Never came back, did she? Guess not. Wonder if she's cause or effect. And do you think Colin's unhappy because she never came back? Only Colin wanted to see her again. I doubt he'd need to call us. All right. Okay, time to move on. We're not quite done yet. Yeah, at this point, like I said, our time is almost up. In my own way, I will always be there to protect you. Okay, so we're gonna now link up all of the memories. Link up all the different items. There we go. Everything's linked up. But, well, Colin is falling apart. This is the end for Colin, just about. Now, Neil wasn't there. He's in a bit of a different place. We're gonna see some fleeting moments of Colin's life kind of pass by. All of his memories, but it's fleeting. The first date. I'm at Sigmund Corp. The honeymoon. This is actually where we learn that the one who teach him about the invisible ink was Sophia. Many, many years ago. She taught him to write in invisible ink using lemon juice. She's just writing a letter. We see the commercial right here. Saying that, you know, it's never too late. He doesn't... Sophia doesn't really understand why he would want to. We see the birth of Asher. All coming back to this one moment. Colin writing in that book. Right there at the top of the mountain. And so we get back here, where we meet Ava once again. We also meet Faye. The sedative is working out. Colin is about to pass away. We have maybe a few minutes left. We can't erase her. We don't have time to fix this. Colin's mind right now is a mess. And rather than trying to fix that in the few minutes we have, we only really have one choice. Because there is one person that can still help Colin, or at least die happy. We hear the doctor calling out that, you know, we may have to get out right about now, because there's no time left. We may not have time, but she does. We give her control, she could do in a fraction of a second what would take us far too long. And so we're left with one choice. We don't know if it's going to work, but it's the only choice we have. It's our final chance to give Colin a happy ending. And so we're going to trust Faye with full control. She says that she's a bit nervous, but you know, we have to believe in her. We wish her good luck, and so we get out. And so we leave, and, well, blood pressure drops, vital signs are fading. Colin's letting go. So Colin passes away. I did say 2 hours ago that this was going to happen, but so we talk briefly. Always a bit stark, you know, getting out like that. We don't know if it worked. Never been done like this before. But we'll figure that out. In the meantime, Watts did remember something. And so he gives the book to Sophia. Asher asks if it worked, but we don't really know, truth be told. Watts asks Asher if he has a lighter, and he does. So he warms up the book.
I never stood up very tall. I think my voice was fairly small. But there were times I'd want to shout, though my thoughts weren't sorted out. So I'd stumble and I'd fall. I learned to fly because of you. to be? Did I make it after all? All the grass on the other side, is it only greener in my mind? I'd still want it the same, because trading my yesterday is to wish my life away. As we dream and as we grow, we have to learn to let things go. But let the wonder never fade, though we've turned 10,000 pages, flying high or stuck below. I've searched for meaning amidst doubt. I finally figured that part out. And all the stories inside me feels like I'm bursting at the seams. And you're here after all. All the grass on the other side, is it only greener in my mind? I'd still want it the same, because trading my yesterday.
And there's the only real
is to wish
difference.
my life away.
Everything the same. Except he never went to Sigmund Corp. Looking for something, old-timer? Been a while, huh? A long while. You haven't changed much. Whose fault is that now? Listen, I wish it were under better circumstances, but I know. Wish I still had the time to tell you all about what's happened since. Okay, I was there. I'm only here to say goodbye. Just tell me one thing, though. You still have any regrets? Regrets? Yeah, I have a lot of those. But that's okay. Chances I've missed, the mishaps, well, I wish I had. It's all part of it. What I do have, I wouldn't trade for anything else in the world. That's all I wish to hear. Go on, they're waiting for you. It's time to go home. Hey, Colin? Sorry I had to leave back then. Thank you for having been there, even when nobody else was. And that's Finding Paradise. Time is coming up in about 3.5 minutes. It'll be after the post-credits scene. You doing okay out there, Freya?
We are. That was amazing.
Yeah, this game, it still gets me. I must have seen this ending a dozen times and I'm still crying. And my boyfriend's sitting next to me just like me. But, yeah. Finding Paradise is such a beautiful game. I hope for many of you, I can imagine for many of you it's the first time seeing this game. I hope I managed to make it live up to what it is. If you haven't played the prequel, To the Moon is equally beautiful. And there's a third game scheduled to release this year, Imposter Factory. The game's on sale right now, I just heard earlier, so strongly recommend checking it out. There's a lot of little nuances I had to leave out, but it is just amazing.
You did an absolutely amazing job telling this story.
I'm glad I did. Glad I managed to do the game justice. Now, there's one little surprise left because we are stupidly close to world record, actually. It's going to be just under world record or just over world record. It's going to come down to a few seconds, so... But we have one more scene left to do, so do get ready on time. And that is specifically the funeral. Rosaline's actually at the funeral. Watts is at the office, drinking his scotch. So, we learned that Watts is working on something here. A new project of sorts. He asks if the other two are still in. The solution he's been talking about. That's her. And time. That is world record by a handful of seconds. Please don't do that. that was my boyfriend clapping next to me, and that was very clearly picked up. Sorry about that. But yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed Finding Paradise. Like I said, absolutely phenomenal game. It is... This is up there as one of my favorite games of all time. If you like these sort of runs, I don't actually run this series very often, but I am looking forward to trying out Imposter Factory over on my channel. I mainly run Pokemon games, so if that's more your cup of tea, do drop a follow. Thank you, Power Up with Pride, for having me on the marathon. I'm glad I got to show this off in a marathon for once. And I'm just going to give it back to you guys.
Thank you so much. We have one donation from Cakes for $25. That was one amazing story. And we think that says everything that can be said right now. And we think that we should just head to break and sit in silence and think about this.